Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Slayer back here again with another video. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm actually coming up on 4 months of sobriety, and I make these videos not only to help myself stay sober, but to help you guys out there stay sober as well. Let me just get the cat out of the bag. Yes, I'm wearing sunglasses at night. I'm being that guy right now. But the reason is because my light in my car is just super bright. Kind of annoying, actually, a little bit. So I saw my glasses in here. It's like, okay, I'll throw my glasses on and make this, this video a little bit easier for myself. I was gonna make a video actually on like replacing our alcohol addiction with weed, and my thoughts on like weed and my thoughts on even like mushrooms and psychedelics and stuff. And I am gonna make that video, guys, but I really want to sit down and put some time and thought into that video before I make it, because people are very, very opinionated on that type of stuff. So I just want to make sure when I make that video, I come about it the correct way. For this video, I actually thought that I would share with you guys the very first time that I was arrested due to my alcoholism. Maybe you're asking why. I saw somebody comment and say, like, oh man, you're glorifying your alcoholism by, telling these stories. Not at all. I tell these stories to bring awareness. I tell these stories because I know that they help people staying sober. That's why I tell these stories. I tell these stories so people can relate. I would never glorify something that's destroyed a large portion of my life and people that I love and care about, their lives as well. I'm not glorifying the alcohol for a second, man. Never. So to get that out of the way, I thought that I could share this story of me getting arrested with you guys, just to show the consequences of doing dumb fucking shit. You do dumb fucking shit, you act like a dumb ass, you pay the consequences, man. You reap what you sow. What you put in is what you get out. All the sayings, man. Do bad, do bad, get bad. All that type of shit. So this story, of course, is a little bit blurry because I was heavily intoxicated. Wow, who could have ever guessed that? So I'm going to try to tell it and remember it the best that I can for you guys. So let's just dive right into this, man. It started out like this. I was still with my ex at this time. This was nearing the end of our relationship. And at this time, man, we were just fucking fighting like cats and dogs all the time, man. She was constantly trying to get me to stop. I was constantly just trying to drink like a fish. I was trying to keep her and save her and be a good boyfriend, but at the same time, I was a full-fledged alcoholic, and that just doesn't work. And I remember we were fighting. And I can't remember about what exactly, but again, at this time period, man, me and my ex fighting, it was just a common thing. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate out there with your partners, wives, husbands, exes. It's just what this disease does, man. Tears people apart from each other. And so, yeah, I remember my mom was over at the time too. And I was screaming at him. We were fighting. I remember that my ex was, saying something along the lines of, I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this shit. You're just, all you do is drink. And I remember my mom like came up and tried to get into the middle of it, and I just fucking lost it. And, the thing, it talks about in the big book, and again, I'm not a preacher of AA or anything like that, but there is a section in the big book where it talks about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And I was definitely, I've said it before, I was definitely Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde when it came to my drinking. There were times where I was lovey-dovey, give me a hug, I love you, that's who I am, come love on me type of drunk. But then there was the other times where all my demons, all my rage, all my everything, my addiction, all of it just came out full force. And it was a very scary scene. And this was one of those nights where that happened. I never beat up my girlfriend. I never put hands on her. Not that type of dude. Just to, throw that out there. But I was the type of dude who I would punch a fucking hole in the wall. I would smash shit. I would throw shit. All that. I remember we were upstairs because that's, where our room was at the time. And I walked out of the room, and we had a Scentsy. If you guys know the Scentsy wax things, I remember I took the fucking Scentsy thing, and you know, those things are hot. I didn't give a shit. I was heavily intoxicated. I remember I took that and fucking threw it against the wall, and it just smashed. And I remember, you know, Scentsy fucking wax went everywhere. Man, I eventually had to come back and clean that shit. You know, my dumb ass, again, you know, I'm making a mess that I end up having to clean up. It's just stupid, man. And I remember I took that and I threw it and smashed it. I turned around and I was like, man, fuck you guys, you know, blah, 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 you know, acting like a nutcase. And I ran down the stairs and I was like, you know, fuck, you know, you guys, you know, are just gonna fucking scream at me and shit. We're just gonna go back and forth. I'm out of here. And I remember I ran up and went into the kitchen area, grabbed some money because I had a little bit of cash in there. And my plan was to go out and walk to get more alcohol. Wow, what a shock. And, you know, because I was way too messed up and fucked up to be driving. And on top of it, I don't even think I had a car then. My ex-girlfriend was driving me around everywhere. Had lost that, you know, another, you know, something that I lost due to my drinking and alcoholism. And so I remember I grabbed cash. You know, I'm already, just keep this in mind, I'm already way, way, way too drunk. Way too drunk. And what am I going to go do? I'm going to go walk and get more liquor. That's the alcoholic for you, man. Enough is never enough, you know? So I remember I walked out of the house and they came running out and they were like, Slayer, you know, come back. And I was like, man, fuck you guys. And I started walking down the street and I was just screaming, just nothing but profanity, man. Nothing but profanity. I remember I was looking at houses and I was screaming at the houses. You know, people were looking out the windows. I was telling the people who were looking out the windows to go fuck themselves. I mean, I was out of control, man. I was out of control. And I was stomping around. I had like, I remember I had like a water bottle at the time. I'm fucking chucking the water bottle at fucking, you know, people's houses and shit. Just screaming, making a ruckus in the entire neighborhood. I ended up walking a ways and there was a park in this neighborhood. And I remember I got about halfway to where this gas station would have been so I could pick up the liquor. About halfway to this gas station was this park from, you know, my old place. And I remember I was walking up there and I was so fucked up, man. I was so drunk that I just ended up like, I realized, I was like, man, I'm so fucked up. I need to go sit down. I kind of started to realize I'm not even going to make it to the gas station. And I'm stumbling. I ended up like walking down, and in this certain park, it was, you know, like you had to walk down a hill to get to it. And I kind of like walked on the hill and sat down and just sat there. And they didn't follow me. Nobody had followed me or anything. But I think they kind of had a general idea on where I was going and where I might have been. I remember I sat there for like 15 minutes, just like staring into nothing, just drunk as can be. And next thing you know, I heard voices. And they were coming from behind me. I was like, what? And even as drunk as I was, I remember thinking to myself, what if that's police officers? Maybe I should get up and I should sprint as fast as I can into those trees over there and get the fuck out of here. Man, I didn't do that for whatever reason. I don't know if I had just given up at that point. I felt defeated from all the arguing, all the chaos that had went down, you know, previously, and I'd just given up. I don't know. But I heard talking coming from behind me, and they walking up, 2 police officers, and I had my phone in my hand, and I remember they were like, you know, put your phone down. Put my phone down. They were like, you know, get down. And I got down. They came over. They fucking slapped handcuffs on me, pulled me up. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, who called the cops? I remember the cop was like, your mom. My mom was done, man. My mom was done with my shit. Yeah, she wanted me to get arrested. And, you know, and to some people that might seem cruel, man. But, that's just the point that it gets to, man, where your family almost rather see you in a jail cell or in a detox or something, because at least they know that you're safe there and you're not just wandering the streets fucking completely hammered out of your mind. I remember the cop, you know, they put the handcuffs on me and they were taking me up and they were asking me all sorts of questions, and I was just like not even telling them anything. I was like, man, I don't know, just, I want nothing to do with this, man. I was like, I want to go home. Well, going home, that wasn't the option anymore. And so they ended up throwing me in the back of this police car, and they off they go. They drive off and start taking me to the police station. And I remember about halfway there, I started talking to the police officer a little bit. I was like, man, so, you know, am I going to jail? And he was like, the police officer must have had a little bit of sympathy for me, because he was taking me to the police station at first. And he was like, you know, man, I was going to take you to the police station, but I think I'm just going to take you to a detox. That, you know, a 24-hour detox, or a detox that you can be in until you can blow under a 0. Whatever the fuck, you know, 0.8 or whatever. I don't even remember. Whatever the legal limit is, 0.08, whatever it is. And I was like, oh shit, okay. So he ended up taking me to this detox place instead of taking me to the police station, which I was grateful for, but at the same time, this certain detox center is notoriously bad where I'm from. Pretty much every person that I've met that's also been in this detox center has said how awful it is, and some people have even said that they'd rather be in a jail cell than be in this place. And let me tell you, it was a jail cell, man. They took me into this fucking place. It was like a dungeon. They opened up the fucking it was at a steel door, just like in jail. They opened up this big ass steel door. They throw me in this concrete room, fucking small as shit, just a tiny little concrete room. I remember there was a hole in the ground that I could piss in. If I wanted to take a piss or shit, I had to fucking piss in a hole in the ground. There was no toilet. I remember it shut off and there was a little window that I could see out of. And I was just like, what the fuck is this, man? You know, and this dude throws me a fucking blue mat and he's like, here you go, you can lay on that till you get sober. And there was a little, you know, sink in there as well, metal, everything was metal, you know, the sink was metal, no toilet, just a fucking hole in the ground. And so he gave me a cup, like a little styrofoam cup, and he's like, get sober, bud. And so I remember I just, at the time, I was so, you know, I was still heavily intoxicated. So I actually ended up going and laying down on, you know, on this blue fucking mat in this freezing ass concrete room. And I passed out for like, I don't know, maybe like 5 hours or so. But when I woke up, man, oh man, it sucked. I woke up in full blown withdrawal, but my fucking BAC was still above the roof. I remember I was blowing and I just could not get below it. And I felt like I was dying, man. Because I was, man. I was going through full alcohol withdrawal as soon as I woke up from that nap. I was pacing back and forth. I remember I kept telling the dude, I'm like, man, just let me the fuck out of here. Like, you know, I don't want to be in this fucking place anymore. There was people in the rooms, like well, if you want to call them rooms, you might as well just call them cages. There was people in the cages next to me fucking screaming at the top of their lungs. I remember this one kid came in and he was kicking the fucking door, telling, you know, fucking let me out, and all this shit. Not a fun experience at all, man. Eventually, something crazy, like, I don't know, like fucking 12 hours later, you know, finally my BAC went low enough and the dude released me. And man, just, it was a shitty fucking experience all the way around. And I came out and I had no money left. The little bit of cash that I had lost on my walk over there. I was in full-blown fucking alcohol withdrawal. No ride back to my place. My ex was furious at me. My mom was hoping that I got, like, you know, weeks in jail, so I don't know how she felt about it. And I was stuck just all by myself, you know, with nothing and really, you know, nobody at the time to call, in the middle of this downtown. It was fucking terrible, man. Puking, sick on, you know, being sick on the side of this building. shaken. Absolutely horrible, man. And, you know, eventually I ended up, you know, getting back to my place, and the madness continued. The madness continued. And that was the first time that I ever had an encounter with well, no, it wasn't the first time I had an encounter with the police, but it was the first time that I was arrested by the police. And yeah, even more chaos, even more drama, even more bullshit after that came. And one day I'll tell you guys about it, and I'll keep telling these stories. And at the end of the day, all of this can be avoided if you don't drink. All of this can be avoided if you stop drinking. All of this can be avoided if you go get some help. I do not miss living that chaotic, fucked up lifestyle at all. And I know that a lot of you guys, when you guys are sober and you guys are out of that chaos, and even when you're in the chaos, you know, even when I was in my chaos, there was many times where I just was begging God a lot of the times, you know, can you just get me out of this? Get me out of this fucking madness. There's a better life, man. You don't have to live that way. There's great help out there. Whatever you need to do, I'm telling you, please do it. And I know it's not easy. I said in another video, this is the hardest thing I think that I've ever had to do. And I've gone through some fucked up shit in my life, guys. And this, I think, is by far the hardest thing that I've had to do, is put down that fucking bottle of alcohol. So don't even get me wrong. I know how hard it is. But I also know once you start getting those long lengths of sobriety, you start to reap the benefits of it, man. And it's just, I can think back about how low I was when I was caught up in my addiction, and how sad and how lonely I was. And I don't wish that on any of you guys. There is help out there. You know, seek help. If you're withdrawing, go to a detox center. Go to a hospital. Safely detox. I don't want to see anybody, you know, God forbid, pass away from alcohol withdrawal. It's deadly. Don't fuck around with it. Get safely detoxed and then take action. Make change. You know, if you need to go to a 60, 90, 120-day rehab, do that. If you don't need the rehab, don't do it. You know, do whatever you need to do to get sober, and stick with it, man. When those temptations come, when that fucking devil comes and he comes a knocking, say no to it and push forward. Because the longer that you go without that poison, the better your life gets, man. And I'm not bullshitting you when I say that. I'm not lying to you guys when I say that. So, man, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. I hope that you guys learned something from this video. At the end of the day, the number one message is, you know, get help if you're going through this. You're not alone. And don't drink, man. And bring an awareness to just how fucked up alcoholism and drug addiction really is. Because when it gets at its worst, I don't know. I don't think I would have wished it on my worst enemy. I apologize, guys. I'm very tired. It's late. I've been working. But yeah, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. This has been a longer video. I hope that you guys can take something out of this. Again, the sober life is the better life. Drop a comment. Let me know how you guys are doing in your guys' journeys with this. We're all in this journey together. Don't forget that. And yeah, shout out to all of you beautiful people out there. Until next time, stay safe, stay sober, and I'll see you guys real soon, all right? Peace.